Testing 1, 2, 3. Can you hear me okay? That's that. Testing 1, 2, 3. 4, 5, 6. One, 2, 3. 4, 5, 6. All right, testing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing. Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing. Test. Test, test. Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3. Sort of. Yeah, you can. Testing.
Testing.
Testing. Testing 1, 2, 3. I think it's picking up the right microphone. Testing 1, 2, 3. We'll roll with it. All right, can anybody hear me? And is anybody actually here? All right, so while I'm waiting for people to join, I might as well just take apart a hard drive because why not? I mean, it's dead. This one has a whole bunch of like bad sectors and all sorts of issues. So I will just crack it open and pull out the magnets out of it for fun. Actually, there's a lot of uses for hard drive magnets. So I get started on that. So on this particular drive, it takes a TR8 and remove these screws. It's now lost on my floor. There you go. I'll use my #1 dad cup to store all these screws in them. Hey, Graham, go ahead and let some of your friends know here about it. Go ahead and share the link, and let's see if we can get some more people to join. Thank you for joining. Got some free stuff I'm going to attempt to give away. Processor, an old Adobe Acrobat 7 Professional, a brand new unopened from like the 90s, dual speed 10100 Ethernet PCI adapter. Also got some Linux books, all sorts of stuff. So I will be actually cataloging a lot of stuff in my garage on what I want to go ahead and give away. And then I'm going to go ahead and probably, I guess, like share that maybe on Google Sheets or something. Create like milestones to be able to give away, especially some of the higher end stuff. I have a Xbox 360 that I upgraded that I'm not using. So why not just give it to somebody who will actually use it and play on it? My son usually just plays on his computer, maybe the PlayStation 4, and I haven't touched it in probably like a year and a half. So might as well give it to somebody who will enjoy it, right? All right, so I'm taking the label off here, and then you can see there is a another sticker. Take that off. I put in I think it was a hybrid solid state drive, or it might actually be an SSD. I should probably just crack it open and look at it. Do you already have an Xbox? Also, can you hear me okay? I was having problems with my Blue Yeti microphone into RTX voice. Also, do you hear the background noise of all the fans and stuff? And there is the inside of a hard drive. And this was, it was like a 1 terabyte or something. Yeah, Seagate Barracuda, 7200 RPM, 1 terabyte. Yeah, the gaming experience on PC, in my opinion, compared to consoles, just because you can pump like $1,000 into a video card or whatever, you're going to have better performance typically. The only thing is that some consoles will have like exclusive titles, but that's kind of going away, sort of, just because the PC gaming market is so much greater than it used to be, especially back like in the 90s, when you could get, say, like Street Fighter or Mortal Kombat for like Super Nintendo and Sega, and then on the PC they always like neglected it, and then that actually eventually ended up bringing birth to Mugen, which is like a 2D fighting platform framework or base engine, fighting game engine, and it's pretty cool. Maybe I'll do some videos on that if you guys want to see that. Yes, no background noise. So what time is it over there for you right now, Graham? Yeah, GTA. I used to play that a long time ago, like the very first one. Now I got little kids, so it probably wouldn't be good for me to be playing Grand Theft Auto, stealing cars and doing stuff on a game. Seven p.m. Hi there. I found some Wi-Fi in its natural habitat in my home. Actually, on my laptop here, I am hardwired using a, so what is this here? Cable Matters 2.5 gigabit Ethernet adapter, and that's USB 3. And then from there, it goes over to my Netgear multi-gig switch, and then from the multi-gig switch over to my Ubiquiti 24-port PoE Unify switch, and then from that over to the Dream Machine, which you might actually be able to see with this. Yep, there we go. It's right here. And I do plan on, I have enough space in my rack, I might actually go up to the Dream Machine Pro and possibly tinker with their VoIP system and maybe one of their cameras, but I'll use Blue Iris so that way I'm not really locked in vendor-wise cameras. Like just use pretty much anything. All right, SPX Labs made it. Awesome. Good to see you. All right, I got 4 concurrent viewers. That's awesome. I think the most I had back when I was doing my hardware live streams was probably about 35 or 40, which is pretty good. But then scalpers happened and attacked me, and I got all sorts of threats and stuff. That's a whole other ball of wax. So just avoiding it and waiting it out. I do have an idea though that could possibly work, but I need to talk to a buddy of mine who used to work in a law office and see whether or not it's even plausible contract-wise. But you know how like Walmart and other places, sometimes they have like price matching? Well, they also allow third-party sellers to sell on their sites. So as you've seen, like PlayStation 5s, gone within seconds, right? And then later on, they're relisted back on Walmart or whatever for like 2-3 times the amount. So what if those stores went ahead and changed their terms of service for third-party sellers where they can yank the funds directly back over a price match, which effectively would allow you to go ahead and pay, let's say, $1,200 or $1,500 for a PS5, and then go ahead and after you receive it, go ahead and put in the claim for a price match and have it price match, again, Walmart.com, and then have Walmart yank the funds from the scalper. I don't know if they can legally do something like that, but if they could, I think that it would probably address a lot of the issues that we're having with the supply. But right now, it's just an idea. What do you guys think? Yeah, originally I did try to stream 4K. It's still the same stream, but I kept getting errors in the YouTube Studio popping up. So then I kicked it down to 1080. It was still complaining. Then I kicked it down to 720, and now it's not complaining. So I'm gonna have to research it a bit more. This is again like my first actual live stream, so gotta try to work out some of the bugs. I also got a Stream Deck here, and ran out of USB ports and my hub that's connected actually over to my desktop. I'm doing this through the laptop because it has an NVIDIA graphics card in it, so I can use the RTX voice to be able to get rid of the background noise. But what's interesting is earlier it flaked out on me several times. Once I end this stream, I'm going to see if it will let me go ahead and like edit out and like chop off like the front, front part of the stream, and then maybe like make it public again. But once it ends, it'll be unlisted, and then I'll see if the YouTube Studio will let me edit that. All right, so with pfSense, I have used it, I'm not a guru at it. I do have a friend that is very good at pfSense. He ran it for many years, but then he actually moved over to OpenSense, and I don't remember all the reasons why. But what is your question about it? And also, have you played with Untangle? Because that's also pretty cool if you're going to be rolling your own firewall. My only complaint about Untangle is that if you buy the home license, they give you, I think it's like 7 days of like support, and then after that, it's only in the forums. So uh, otherwise, they charge. I want to say it's like $200 a phone call or whatever just to like troubleshoot something, which kind of sucks. But I mean, Untangle is more built for a business environment. If I remember right, it was Debian based, so I was able to go in and tune some of the settings on my network adapters back when I used to run it. And then I drank the Unify Kool-Aid, and mostly love it. So, hi there. Thanks for joining the stream. I am pulling apart a hard drive for fun and to pull the magnets out of it. I basically taken it apart already here. Here's kind of see it. Right. This thing is wicked strong. If you take a, well, first take like tape and put it on top of it here, and then use a Dremel and just like cut off these sides. And you stick this to a refrigerator, good luck getting the thing off. Like you got to slide it off and like pry it off. It's insane. Things are wicked powerful. Yeah, last night posted on Instagram. Actually, we went to there was a free concert in downtown Glendale, and didn't really know about it. We actually went there for pizza last night, and then just heard music and stuff from across the way in like the civic center area over by the library and stuff, and just walked across the way, and there's a whole bunch of people, and it's kind of weird seeing everybody walking around. Um, and then here there's a update that if you have the vaccinations or your 5G shots, kidding, then you don't have to wear a mask when you go out in public. Otherwise, if you are not vaccinated, then you do have to wear a mask. And it just seems like either everybody's vaccinated or claiming they're vaccinated, or I guess self-identifying as being vaccinated. I don't know. It's 2021. Anything's possible, right? Except for high speed over DSL. That's just never going to happen, especially for upstream. Wow. Uh, yeah, I guess, I mean, you could build something like that with pfSense. I mean, that would be freaking nuts. Is this going to be for like a home lab? And do I pronounce your name? Is it Secret? Thank you. Yeah, this was actually my Halloween costume for last year. Took me a while to find like the exact print that I wanted and got it off of eBay. I think it was actually shipped from like Russia or Ukraine or something. I don't know. But yeah, it's my blue screen of death shirt. And I do plan on taking maybe like an old busted keyboard and over to like a neighbor's house, and he's got a like a cutting torch, and then like carve it out so that it becomes like a scythe, and then I'll just like duct tape it to a broomstick or something like that, and probably use that for my Halloween costume this year. hopefully I get a chance to go do that. So. That's interesting. Stand-up comedy club in Liverpool. Slated on social media for being COVID vaccination only. So do you have to like show a vaccination card, or can you be self-identified as being vaccinated? Or is that one of the jokes up on the stage? All right, so anyways, I got this one magnet out. Let's take the rest of it apart, which can be difficult because as you get close, it just wants to take it away from you magnetically. So what do you guys think about me cataloging everything for some future giveaways on the live stream or multiple live streams, having like different requirements such as like concurrent viewers or likes or something like that on the video? Because some of the stuff is potentially some higher dollar ticket items like the Xbox 360. I have a outdoor, this thing is like massive Wi-Fi access point. Actually, don't know if it works or not. It was a pull that a buddy of mine that has a company that he pulled it from some environment. He thinks that it's in working condition, and they just gave it to him as like e-waste. And then he's like, "Hey, you want this and play with it or give it away on your channel?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure." So got all sorts of just stuff, and then also like some books. What do you guys want to see for giveaways? What can you use? Yeah, technically that would be right. The HIPAA compliance states that it is anything that can identify a patient. So it can be a patient number, it could be anything. It could actually be a sign-in sheet at a doctor's office. If they have your name printed on it, that is technically a HIPAA violation. Or if you were to sign it, and I've seen some doctor's offices where they have like stickers. So you sign the sticker, as soon as you sign it, they peel it off. So that way you can't see who is ahead of you and identify another patient's name, because technically that would be a HIPAA violation. Microsoft flag, man, I've had that since the 90s. I really don't want to give that away. If I could find another one to buy it or something, I wouldn't mind giving that away. But I mean, that was for my first job when I was 14 building PCs. So you already have enough tech junk. Same here. I mean, stuff reads in my home office in the garage, so I'll just give it away, you know? All right, we're up to 7 concurrent viewers. That's awesome. Get a Red Hat or Linux one. If it's on Amazon, send me a link, man. I'd definitely grab one of those. Let's start busting this apart. All right. Now, I'm assuming everybody has seen the inside of a hard drive. Is that a safe assumption? Yeah, they didn't want that hard drive to be open, but it was already bad, so might as well just harvest some drives out, or some magnets out of the drive. Definitely don't want to get your finger caught in between these. It will draw blood. If you ever walk around on a beach with a magnet, I remember doing that as a kid. Uh, these hard drive magnets work so much better. Also, like in the backyard or front yard, there's been times like I've dropped like screws or nails and haven't been able to find it, and I'll just go grab some of these and stick it on some like paracord or whatever, and then give it to my kids to run around with, and then it picks up all sorts of stuff that you didn't even know that you had laying around on the ground. So these things are phenomenally powerful. All right, thanks for joining. So what I did here earlier is crack open this hard drive, and I'm harvesting the magnets out of it. Got some free tech stuff I'm attempting to give away. Can anybody use a AMD Sempron? It's a SDX140. Is that a D? Yeah, 14D HBK13GQ. Also have a Adobe Acrobat 7 Pro. If you know anybody that can use it, a brand new unopened from the 90s D-Link 10100 DFE TAC 530TX card. Got Linux in a nutshell and maximum RPM. And again, I'm going to be cataloging a lot of my stuff. Probably put it out on like Google Sheets or something and share it out so that you guys can all see it and like tell me what kind of stuff you want to see me give away. Now for shenanigans, I posted a short the other day on my channel. I was at it's like a Dave and Buster's place. I don't remember the name of it. Main Event. There you go. With my son, and there was a game there that you pull out like a spring, and then you release it, and the spring needs to be replaced, but it's not in the best interest of the company to replace it. But anyways, he pulls it out all the way, and it barely goes all the way around just to the very first hole, and he gets like 10 tickets or something like that. It's pretty messed up. I was thinking about trying to actually like tilt it a few degrees to be able to see if we could get it to do more than one rotation around. But the thing weighs a ton, so I literally would have to smuggle in like a car jack to be able to get any kind of advantage on it. So just avoid those machines. So you guys got anything going on this holiday weekend? It's amazing on how much precision there is in the engineering on these drives and how cheap they are. Like, it's insane. Well, with skee ball, you actually have a chance by skill. There was a guy many years ago, back when Metro Center Mall used to be open, uh, and they had an arcade. It used to be an ice skating rink that got closed down, then it got converted into an arcade for many years. And there was a guy that he was leaving and gave me like a stack. I mean, this thing was, it was probably like, I don't know, 2,000, 4,000 tickets or something stupid. And I don't know, probably like 8 or 9. And he said the trick to the skee ball is that you actually have to like ricochet it off the side so that it goes at one angle, then it bounces off, and then it hits the other, like the top right, like you're going to have it be at a like a 45-degree-ish angle towards the left, and then it'll ricochet off and then land over onto the right. And he would just stand there and just whoosh, 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 just throwing the skee balls, and like every single time, having hitting the highest, 1,000 points or whatever it was. It was crazy. So the gyms are open back over there in the UK then? Yeah, the skee balls, the classic ones are made of wood. Yeah, that is pretty cool, Scott. I'll have to check that out once if you release a video on that. I wonder if I could use some GoPro, like older GoPros, on RTSP streams over to my Blue Iris. I know that GoPro released, or I thought they were releasing a driver, I guess, to be able to use video out without having a capture card. I've only read about it, and it was a while back, so I need to look into that and see what's supported. So, what kind of tech stuff and nerdy things do you guys want to see on upcoming live streams? You always get banned from chat. Well, I just have some basic filters set up for not allowing profanity. but that's across the board on both live streams and on any comments on the videos. So Scott, will you release a video on YouTube at all for your setup, like how you set that up at all, or are you going to just do it all on Twitch? I can't fabricate with CNC. Well, I guess I've never tried fabricating anything with the CNC machine. My father-in-law does some machining and stuff as a hobby. I do have a 3D printer. You can see right here. That's the FlashForge Creator Pro, and I've built a lot of stuff using Tinkercad. I've wall-mounted like all sorts of stuff. Like I have a Magic Jack that I printed out something for, a cable modem, even monitors that didn't have monitor stands anymore. And I just created some like wall mounts, but that was in my old office setup, and it used to be over on this wall over here. And when we had to rip the floor out, then I'm just rebuilding everything. And yeah, I do some scripting. I have a video for turning down, like manually controlling over IPMI, the fan speed for my PowerEdge server. It's a 1U that is loud if I don't turn it down. And basically built out like a switch in PowerShell. So it would go ahead and read the temperature from the temperature sensors, and then based upon that logic that I defined in the switch, it would either raise the CPU fan speed up or down based on the temperature. And then also if it was I even had like a kill switch in there for too high of a temperature, or also for if a process was taking up too much resources. So say that you had something pegged at 100% CPU utilization for a while, then it would go ahead and detect that and then actually kill that process. But that could also be dangerous depending on what was actually causing that to run. So if you had some VM that you gave it the same amount of cores as the host had, and you were running Prime 95 on it, you'll hear the fan spin all the way up, and then eventually it'll just actually kill that process. So if you were writing some data or something in the background, then you could, corrupt the data in the process. And that script was actually inspired by one of SPX Labs videos. So that's actually what inspired me to go ahead and create that. Okay, so the GoPro 8s and 9s only output 720p. That kind of sucks. Didn't do what? So sort of the DRAC controller or IPMI on most systems, you're able to tap into a lot of the sensors. And then I'm just using IP9 tool to be able to, uh, you know, write the script and then just create the switch logic that just says if it's, you know, this temperature range, then use this speed. If it's this temperature range, then do that speed, and so on and so forth. And then, of course, if the process is out of control, then just kill it. I would definitely not use that in a production environment, but in a home lab, it makes sense for me just because it's so freaking loud. And I got that server for so dirt cheap. Had 4 times the amount of drives in it and like double the RAM than what they listed it as and everything. I mean, it was a sweet deal. Yeah. The Power Edge fans. Well, it's not stealing if you're inspired by, and then do your own, right? The idea is what I could use this for. Yeah, here, let me turn off the fan. I mean, right now I have the RTX voice going, so tell me what you think of the sound quality. But let me turn off the fan and then I'll drop the curtains across. You might get a kick out of this. So this is my ghetto floppy drive Christmas ornament. I need to sand it down and repaint it again. But basically, I just use some like chrome spray paint on it, and I hang that on the Christmas tree. My wife doesn't like it. I also got a stick of RAM, but it's a rim. So I don't know if you guys remember rims. I want to say that was in like DDR2 or something. And my best friend, who unfortunately passed away, gave me the idea to go ahead and make stuff like that. So still got it around, and that's my defense on why she has to let me put it on the Christmas tree, because she's with us. So, anyways. And I just remembered one of the things to do with some hard drive magnets was actually, so see here, I have it's 3 layers. So I want to, this is like come apart, same thing like here as well, and keep it zapped. So up top, I just have the like Velcro. It's like Velcro tape. Yeah, like this stuff here. That I have it just being held together up top between the curtains. Real quick, how's the audio when I'm back there? Can you hear me okay? Straight copy the entire blog post. Without credit, man, you should backlink to them. Maybe they'll backlink to you. I did consider thinking of how I could build something to actually go ahead and pull and draw the curtains across, but I haven't had the time to really dig much deeper into it. it's a possibility, but the amount of time it would take, I don't know if I'd be able to do that. I have slow message disabled now. That's weird that it hasn't taken effect. But we have a big Christmas tree, so I just kind of balance it out with the other ornaments. So you want ID and address USB devices as they had MAC addresses, like they had done for USB drives. Trying to remember, there's a utility to do something kind of related a while back. This was FTDI chips, and they had some kind of like utility. There's a free utility, and I don't remember what it was called, but it was like a USB identifier, and you could drill right into that. You could also build something in PowerShell just to query it as well, but it would be kind of messy to organize all that data if you're just like plugging and unplugging and stuff. Are you looking to just like whitelist certain keyboards or something like that, peripherals, or what's the end requirement or end result that you want to accomplish with that? Yeah, the Floppytron's pretty cool. I don't have enough floppy drives to do that. Now, if I do find I have a PC Junior around here. I have PC Junior, like the original one in my garage somewhere that I gutted, and I was considering taking my existing desktop parts. So it's a i7 8700, not the K version. I accidentally bought that instead of the K version on a Black Friday sale, and stayed up till like midnight or 1 in the morning or whatever to buy it. And I was so sleep deprived, I didn't realize that it was not the K version, but whatever. But anyways, I was thinking about taking that, the motherboard, and maybe doing some kind of like LEDs or something and making some kind of like retro system, maybe turn it into an arcade or something. Oh. No. First, I'll see if I can find the case, and then maybe I'll do like a live stream and discuss with you guys like what you guys want me to make a video out of doing with it. Yeah, so I have this here. I'll pull it out. I just put it right over the lens, and it just sits there. It has its own like tripod feet kind of thing, but it's I have a very wide lens on here. It's the 10 to 18 millimeter. So it's, let's see here. And that's on my Sony a6500. Yes, use the drone to pull the curtains across. DJI might do that. I don't know if it has enough torque to pull that though. And my Altel Evo 2, I'd have to turn off all the sensors on it. That thing is like so sensitive. Even when I'm like flying it in the woods, it's like I couldn't even land it because there was a tree within however many meters that the sensor goes. And I had to turn off all of the like safety sensors and features and stuff like that to be able to land the drone. I could take off fine, but I couldn't actually land it, which is pretty funny. And then of course wind was picking up, and dinner was ready, and the wife and kids yelling at me and everything. Dinner's ready, come inside. Trying to, it won't let me land. Bot with the switchblade. Switchbot, Kurt. All right, let's see. Yeah, I'd have to do another rail. Those things, this is such a pain in the butt to install. I'd use my heat gun to warm it up, like bend it around, and then I'm like hanging on it with one hand and trying to drill with the other, and it was kind of painful. You put up the supports first, and then you have to like slide it in. If it were to clip in, it would be easier. Where did they clip in? I don't remember. Oh yeah, no, okay. So it was the very first one I had to slide in, and the rest of them you just put in at like an angle, and then it clips in. But you still have to like pull over a little like spring mechanism and stuff. Now, can you guys hear me okay when I'm back here? Can you hear me? Can't see the volume on the screen. Behind my other screen. Can you guys hear me okay? As for the FAA, I am a licensed pilot. I do have to get clearance from the Air Force base that is out near me. On the weekends, it's pretty much just, I was told to call and see if anybody answers. If they don't answer, then they are closed, and therefore it is considered granted access into their airspace. But there's also another airport that's by me that I also have to call. They would probably get a kick out of it saying, okay, I'm in my house, and technically I would be entering your airspace, but I want to fly my drone indoors for a YouTube video and possibly break it in the process. I would definitely get the propeller guards for whatever drone that I would be flying for it. I just don't know if it has enough thrust to be able to like pull it across. It's not a bad idea, but well, I mean, it kind of is because I could break something. And it's never cheap to fix, unless if it's just the props. But most of the time, the prop will break, and then other things will break. I have a Parrot Bebop 2 that I might end up giving away on a live stream. It does need to be repaired, but I need to dig through all of my old emails because Parrot accused me of having a time machine and therefore was not under warranty, which is 12 months, but it was only released 8 months ago. So without them admitting whether or not any previous units were stolen before the initial release, and of course I have my serial number, but because I bought it off of eBay and did not have a official like reseller store's receipt, they denied my claim. And I also got to try to find that video of it. It was just flying and then it just fell right out of the sky, which that sucked because then I had to go drive around to go retrieve it. It was line of sight until it just died. I'm like, oh my god. So there's that. Well, I can't legally operate two drones at the same time. It's not a bad idea. It's just not legal. So I can't do that. Can you guys hear me from back here? So I'm going to this curtain. There we go. I've got the hard drive magnets holding it together. You until the flip it. All right, cool. Does the volume go down much when I'm back by the curtains talking, or does RTX voice actually like automatically adjust, kind of like how Zoom works? You know, when you get further away, it'll automatically amplify the input. So let me know if that makes any difference while I'm walking back and forth. And I'm glad that the microphone hasn't stopped working yet, because I had to unplug it and replug it probably a dozen times. It would work for a couple seconds to several minutes, and then it would just stop. So I need to debug that. So RTX voice is, see if I can just pull it up here for you. But basically, it is a driver that sits in between the recording interface and the machine. And you can have it remove background noise and echo and a few other things. And then they have another, forget what it's like another driver that can do some other things too. It's NVIDIA Broadcast or something like that. I don't know why it is not letting me share my screen. Let me just turn that off and add another source. Yeah, I'm not sure why it's not letting me. It could be something, maybe the resolution or something isn't compatible, because it's the 16 by 10 aspect ratio. Although, I mean, I have this connected to a external monitor, which is just standard 1080. So you'd think that it would allow me to select that, and that is just plugged in here on the HDMI. That is a great theory. Because I know at like events and stuff, they've had synchronous drones do things. I'd have to look into the legal side of things. But I only have the DJI Original Mavic Pro and the Autel Evo 2. And I might hold out for the Mavic 3 Pro, maybe, or was considering getting the FPV system, because that looks pretty cool. I need to reach out to DJI and see if they have any kind of like discount programs or anything like that. It's just so freaking expensive, so you can go broke pretty quick buying shiny tech things, just like those drones. So yeah, let's see here. Yeah, the screen went black because I went ahead and just turned off the capture card to see if it was something to do with it being like overlaid on top or something. But I didn't see that. So let's see. I'm gonna have to just tinker with it. Maybe I need to install a different set of drivers or something. I had problems with RTX voice running, and ended up going to the manufacturer's website to download their version of the NVIDIA drivers, and then that seemed to fix that. So the RTX voice would start working again. All right, so it has been an hour. If you guys want to just drop some stuff in the chat on what kind of things you want to see me give away, like what kind of tech can you use? Because I mean, this stuff breeds in my house. I don't think anybody's going to want like hard drive magnets that are harvested, but maybe. I mean, I could do a video on all the different weird things that I've used them for. I had a baby gate years ago that it would open out to, there's like a landing sheetrock square thing upstairs. And I actually took one of the magnets and popped it off of the metal plate, and then I just used some hot glue and just stuck it on the corner, right at where the screw on the gate would match up to it. So whenever it got close enough, it would just latch right over to it, and it worked perfect. And because it only had a minimal amount of iron content in the screw that was on the baby gate, it wasn't actually that difficult to like pull it across or to pull it off. But it was also a magnet from, I think it was from a 2.5-inch drive that I pulled apart. So it was weaker than the giant one that I just put on the curtains there. Ooh, okay. So, Secret, you're saying the USB addressing for multiples of the same peripherals, for example, quad touch screens and like an editing bay, the touch screens have behaved via USB 2 of a replicant device. Have you tried putting one of them on a powered hub at all? R750. No, I got a R730 actually. It is right here. Let me find my phone here. So you can see here is the R730. Got it on a trade like barter years ago, and basically was told they had two of them, and they just wanted the memory and processors from one transferred over to the other, and then just install like ESXi on it. And I got to keep the chassis, and the motherboard, power supplies. But I had to get a new processor and RAM, and because we have a rule where if it costs more than $100, then my wife has to say yes, and I have to say yes before we purchase. It just prevents any kind of fights or just yeah, it's good to do something like that. But anyways, the processor had to wait until I could score one for under $100, and it basically just sat in the garage for a couple of years. So now I have that, got some memory in it, and now I need to just put together a bunch of drives. I've been trying to get some U2 NVMEs. And I think that would be kind of a cool video if I did some like chia mining with that. But once I get my motherboard, I'll show you here. So I've got the Dark Rock Pro, by Be Quiet, the Dark Rock Pro 4 for the heatsink and fan. I've got the WD Black Gen 4 NVMe and a 5950X. Now, Western Digital has a utility where you can see like the health of the drive. So what I'm curious is that if I were to mine chia on it for a day or a week or whatever, like how much wear it actually puts on it. Now, I do have a data center drive in my R330 that has the majority of its life still available. And I was considering hammering the snot out of that, since I know it'll take all the write cycles. And I was thinking just trying to maybe buy some U2 NVMe drives that are designed for heavy writes, and then just set up like a RAID 0 array just for like raw speed across like 8 drives in the R730, and see what kind of performance I can get out of it. I have done some research where people are using RAM disks where they actually get like 512 gigs of RAM, but they say it only performs like twice as fast as like the latest NVMe. So I haven't seen anything where people are actually doing RAID arrays with NVMe's. So I don't know. I mean, it's just something I'm kind of looking into. Yeah, the 730 is like 100 years old, but I can finally afford to put a processor in it. But you know what can help with that is if you go ahead and slap that like button and also subscribe and turn on all those notifications. And the 3.5 cents that I might actually get can help go towards a new processor. Yes, AI can fly drones, but there's some legal requirements. Like you still have to be able to gain manual control over the drone at any time. And so a good example would be like the Bebop 2. When I first got it, you would actually map out where it would go and then just hit play and then it would just go. However, if for whatever reason it went on the fritz, which has done before, then I can just take the phone and re-grab manual control over it and then fly it back over to me and then land it. Okay, so you did try a powered hub. Can you, Secret, go ahead and drop in the chat here the model number of the touchscreen devices that you're using, and I can see if I can dig into that. Also, go ahead and shoot me an email. Better yet, just shoot me an email at brad@shinytechthings.com, and then I can go ahead and research that and see what I can come across. Maybe if they're cheap enough, I can get one or two of them and kind of play with it and see how it registers. There might be a way to like hack the hardware address on it. I'd probably have to like crack it open, see what chips are on it. You might actually have to get like a chip writer and stuff. I don't know. All right, well, if you got to run, I will catch you later. I'm going to stay on at least here for probably a couple more minutes. Let's touch on each. Secret, one thing that could work, maybe, is that let's say if you had separate computers with one being on each computer, and then using Microsoft I think they call it like GarageBand, but you can look at Synergy is one that's like multiple OS supported, so you can actually have like I had a Red Hat Linux desktop at my work years ago that was off to the side, and then I had in front of me my regular Windows laptop in a dock, and then I used Synergy to go back and forth. So you use the same keyboard and mouse, and then it just transfers between the two machines. It just has to be on the same network. So maybe that might be something that could work, but ideally, again, it would be better if you could just get it all working on one system because, do you really want to have 4 computers to do what you're doing? And I'm going to say that the answer is no. But that could be a workaround. And if you're like me and computers breed, it might not be a bad thing just to try out just because you got the stuff laying around. So Wow, at 275 bucks a pop on eBay, that is not in the cards for me. Have you tried reaching out to Planar and see if they are aware of the issue? Same system. So how are you using theoretically up to 40 touch points on the same system at the same time? Curious, how, like what's the use case for this? Do you have any attorney friends or anything that would like send them a letter and be like, "Hey, you need to address this or something," and see how they respond? Because sometimes they just won't respond uh, because you're like an end user, and it's like, yeah, you're one out of millions of people that has this issue, but if something shows up from an actual law firm to their legal department saying like, "Hey, what's the deal on this?" and I'm getting, my client's getting blown off, they might just give you a phone call, or write you back and be honest that, well, you're one out of however many millions of people that have this issue. The reason why it occurs because we're cheap on the engineering or want to keep reusing the same component rather than burning out something unique each time or whatever. Um, think of it as like the original, uh, like the USB dongles for wireless keyboards and mice. I mean, they were like proprietary, but they were, you know, um, matched up to a particular mouse and or keyboard, right? And then Logitech came out with the Unify system, and you can just like reprogram it. So then the question then becomes the hardware that's under the hood with those screens that you have, is there any way for you to reprogram it? And if so, that would in theory solve your issue. Otherwise, I don't know, looked into something a long time ago, and I want to say that there is something for it where it's USB over Ethernet, and it's like a driver that has to be installed. I think that you run it on another machine, and then it actually pipes the output over the network connection. But it was a paid proprietary solution. Again, shoot me an email, brad@shinytechthings.com if you haven't already, and I'll see if I can dig into that for you. There's got to be a way around it. So how would taking your shoes and socks off allow you to grow an extra 2 arms and legs? It's like if you ever watch NCIS, where you have like two people on the same keyboard, like typing, and they're doing like mega fast hacking or whatever. It just doesn't work. The only thing, I actually had a discussion with somebody, I don't know, it was like a week or two ago, about if you could possibly have 3 or 4 hands, then could you type faster? And the only thing that I could deduce from that is theoretically, yes, but the only thing you would be reducing is the latency between your two hands moving or the stretch distance. So it would be very, very minimal performance gains if you actually did have more than 2 hands, at least for typing on a keyboard. So now working on a car or something like that, it could definitely be handy. Um, but on a computer, the interfaces to machines just aren't built to be any faster than two-handed human input. What kind of network is it going over? And I do get the latency, but what hardware are we looking at? Because I would think if you had um, like 10 gig fiber or something, I mean, it would be very minimal. Seriously? I'm gonna chalk that up to just poor code writing on the solution where it goes over the network. I mean, you would have the latency of the remote nodes, but provided that you tuned like the power settings and the BIOS and everything, it should be very minimal. No. Maybe I can reach out to Plan R and I don't know if they take me serious about it, but say, hey, send me 2 demo units so I can see if I can figure a way around the issue and then let them know how I did it. But I don't know if they would send me hardware to essentially crack open and crack it apart and see what I could do with it. And yeah. So what have you done already so far to try to work around it? I mean, you've tried the USB over the network software. Have you tried to see if there's any newer versions that reduce that latency and then like report the issue to that manufacturer to see if there's something that they can do at all? Let's see. Yeah, I have to see like how you're using it all. I'm still trying to wrap my mind around it. If you get a chance, can you like upload a video and just email it to me so I can kind of see what you're working with? Ooh. Yeah, I got a Discord channel here. Email me and I'll send it to you here. I'm just still kind of trying to keep it small so that it's not overwhelming. But go ahead and just shoot me an email, and then I can send you the link to the Discord here. And I just checked my email. I don't see any emails yet. So Brad at shinytechthings.com. I know I'm sounding like a broken record, but just wanted to make sure you get it. Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, email me and then we can go from there. Yeah, I'm wondering. Touch. Yeah, I'd really need like 2 or more of those screens to really tear it apart. Because even if it has a separate ID, well, you'd think that because it's a touch screen that it would be like bound into its own display ID. I don't know. What do you want me to take apart? You got sorts of stuff like everywhere. Let me go see if I can grab some stuff from the garage while I wait for a response from you. Be right back. I just got an idea. Maybe I should set up a stream over to OBS to my one of my surveillance cameras in the garage, so you can actually like see me get stuff. That'd be kind of cool, right? So this is that giant. Let's see, it's a Tropos, a model GDH for a access point. I mean, this thing is massive. I have no idea what the specs are of it. It is older, and I know nothing about it. So this will be something I'll eventually give away. Got another drive I can take apart. And so I bought these, and this one, something's loose in it or something. I have no idea what's up with that. So I might just crack that open. I'll be giving this away. It's supposed to be a 10 megapixel. It's a Archon Vision. And it turns out when I reached out to the manufacturer, like they didn't really have like any documentation because it's an older end of life product. But originally it was like freaking expensive camera. And what I was looking for is just a higher resolution camera that it doesn't have, like I can just keep the night vision off and keep it running color all the time. Because there's you know, when you record at night with like a Reolink or Hike Vision or Dahua or whatever IP cameras, when you go over to the night vision, you lose any detail of color. So I wanted something just like as a different camera, and scored it on eBay for relatively inexpensive. And the video stream, so like I had to use like an older browser. I think I used like Pale Moon or something like that to be able to get into it. And when you set it up for the 10 megapixel, it just had some like weird stretching and stuff on the image quality. And I reached out to the manufacturer, and they're like, "Yeah, can you get the stream using VLC?" Like, yeah, it's still weird on VLC, so it's not Blue Iris. And yeah, basically they finally ended up saying, "Well, sorry, we don't have any newer firmware that could actually update some of these issues, and we just can't help you at all because we don't have it anymore." And then I asked if they would release their source code on like GitHub or something, and they said no. So that sucks. But now I got a 12 megapixel Reolink, and I don't care. Let me check my email here. Got it. That's cool. I've never been able to really like paint by hand other than like stick figures. I'm just not artistic. Although I did get just a little pen, and this was on sale on Newegg, like $60. And I want to try to start doing like some drawing overlays on top of the screen. So there's like some third-party software that I gotta get. It'll be kind of similar to like Network Chuck on some of his tutorials and stuff. I want to be able to do stuff like that. So it's a Hoyon HS610. So yeah, on some of the upcoming videos, when I start doing like live tutorials and stuff, I'll probably just use that and some on-screen overlay software. Yeah, it is. Let's see here. HUION. Then it has like this little wheel on it and then a touch button. I want to see kind of how it worked for just the overlays on the screen, so I can write on it, and then also I can probably use it in like Final Cut Pro and other editing programs and stuff too. All right, you guys ready to see what is inside of this, making the noise? Yeah, I wasn't actually familiar with that brand until I saw it on Newegg. Saw that they were overall have like good reviews, and it was cheap, like 50 or $60. And then I think there was a coupon code for 20% off or something. I mean, it was a good price. So I was looking at getting something like a Wacom tablet or something, but for the price, I'm like, if it sucks, I'll send it back, and if it doesn't, I'll keep it. And from what limited experience that I've done with it so far, it works great. Oh wow. That's why it doesn't work. Hmm. Let's tear this down. Yeah, the Wacoms are nice, but they're expensive. Even the tiny ones cost a small fortune. Oh, so yeah, this literally right on. I'll have to look that up and see. There we go. Let's see what it is exactly here. But I could probably just solder it back on. Maybe that's why they sent me the two cameras. So I ordered one, and I let the eBay seller know, like, dude, I got two of these. Like, you want me to send one back? And oh, by the way, only one of them works, so I can send you the broken one back. He just told me to keep them. It wasn't worth shipping it back. Okay. So, get the drivers. If I can get this thing apart. Yeah, let's set up here. Two, 5, 7. So it's a PoE transformer for TI-LM 5071 and 5072s. Oilcraft. Here, I'll drop it in the chat here. Yeah, I got a 12 megapixel Reolink, so it's above 4K resolution, and it works pretty good. So I kind of do with, well, here, this is in the way. In my video where I go ahead and fix the, was that the, I think it was a D-Link router or something, no, it was Netgear router. You can see the soldering station and stuff that I've got there. Juggling far too many first world problems than any reasonable person living in a 2-bedroom apartment. I get it. Yeah, I don't know how it came loose. I mean, I guess I can read the chip at this distance. I'm not that old yet, so. But I wanted to just hold it up so that you guys could actually see it, and I'm also kind of curious, like how well it focuses up close here. And everything is backwards, of course. I'm doing this live. Here we go. Yeah, so you can see right here on the screen. And I can actually plug it in here. Hey, I found my memory card I was looking for. this. Let's see how much you can zoom in. Oh, that's it. So yeah, I can see it fine, but you can't see it fine. But yeah, some of my videos, I've taken other cameras and stuck them on a tripod and just like zoomed into the screen, this screen here, and then had that as like an overlay. And it's a coax out, so I just need to find like a coax out splitter or something so that way I can still see it on that screen and then like convert it over to HDMI or something, and that would be pretty cool. So I could do something like Louis Rossman, but with a lot less skill. We end up burning things in the process and breaking stuff, but it'll be fun. So why not? I could fix some things. Yes, the legs are intact on it. And yes, I'm using OBS. Now I wonder. So there is a green piece of something. It probably broke off on the inside here. Maybe just take this whole thing apart and see if I can get the board out. Since you can't hear the fan, turning it back on, this RTX voice will filter it out, hopefully. Or at least you guys said that you couldn't hear the fan earlier, so do that. Upstream I'm consuming right now. Go for this. Only like 3 megabits. Need to see how I can reliably get it up to 4K. Because I got 35 megs up. You'd think that I'd be able to do that in OBS reliably. Here is the sensor. A 10 megapixel, no name brand, most likely from Arcont. And completely abandoned. Because they suck at life skills and documentation internally. In my opinion. Wow, something else fell out. Okay. All right. So you can see right where it fell off. You probably just solder right back on. Let's see if I can get this to focus. Looks like that's about as close as I can get. Standards of accountability for notation, documentation, and liability. Yeah, all I can say is that, like, at my work, I document the snot out of like whatever I'm doing. Uh, Not only just to be able to make sure that the process can be repeated by anybody, but like if I were to hand an instruction manual that I wrote to one of my kids, then they would be able to follow along with it, most likely. Although that might actually make a good video is for me to here build an Nginx reverse proxy server here. Here's a manual. I just printed it out for you. Go ahead and do it. um, it could be bad quality control. Let me toss this under the microscope here. Wow, that is a straight up tear. So it was probably like jarred, like real hard, like somebody dropped it. I mean, it could have been when they, because these were used, right? So it could have been, say, for example, somebody was taking them down from whatever site they were installed at, right? And then they just like dropped it. Although I didn't see physical damage on the unit. Who knows? I mean, it could have been like a theater or something without like no hard concrete or anything, and it could have just like hit the ground so hard that it busted it, and then they just rattled it, and they're like, well, it's e-waste, and we'll just sell them for, you know, $20 a piece or whatever. I don't know. It was really cheap, but the Reolink 12 megapixel. The only thing that I don't like about it is that it's not as wide of a angle as the 5 megapixel. And of course, because of the resolution, it does take up a considerable amount more of processing power in Blue Iris because I'm using the actual main streams rather than taking like a substream and then based on like motion detection or whatever or any AI, then have it switch over to the mainstream and then record that. I could do that. I may end up doing that just because I've got, I think, like 4 other cameras that I might be putting in here as well that are, I think, 8 and 12 megapixels. So we'll see. I mean, I'm definitely hammering the snot out of my Blue Iris server for sure. Well, there's like a straight up tear. I'll have to give me a bit, and I'll post it on Instagram and Twitter. Hi, MD Bank Rolls. Welcome to the stream. Kind of just chilling here. Was planning on ending it at 12. Now it's actually 12:45. Should probably eat lunch. What Reolink do you got there for the 1440p? Hey, Uju. I'm going to drop something here in the chat, and hopefully you won't get it and think it's funny. So where's everybody tuning in from? You want to drop your country or state or whatever in the chat. So empty bankrolls earlier. I was talking about I got a R730 Power Edge. Need to zoom out. It's right down here in my rack that I got like on a barter where somebody had two of these servers and they wanted me to just take all the RAM and processor out of the second server and toss it in the first one and build up like an ESXi box for them. In return, I got to keep the old stuff. Not a bad deal. But I couldn't afford to buy a processor for it for years because it was costing more than $100. And anything that is $100 or more, both my wife and I have to say yes to, or we just won't buy it. It saves a lot of headaches. So that's why. But anyways, now I got I think it's like a low energy 12 core or something like that in it, and I had some sticks around laying around. I just need to get some drives for it, and I've got some ideas on what I want to do with it, and then maybe get a second proc for it as well too, since the prices have still further come down. But I would like to get one of the AMD Epics. There's I think it's a DL380 Gen or is it a Gen 10 V2 Plus or something like that that supports PCIe Gen 4 NVMEs in a server, and that would just be freaking awesome. It's like $1,500-$1,600 on eBay, and I'd like to get a 2U so it's not as loud. And I don't know about hacking into the IPMI on the HP to like slow down the speeds like I did with my R330 Power Edge. Oh, okay, so big spoon. Yeah, so I've got some stuff to give away. Short version is computers and electronics breed in my house and garage. So I literally have stuff like coming out my ears half the time. So I did release a video yesterday on, I had a guy, he bought one computer from me and I posted it on like OfferUp or something, let go. I don't remember who bought who, but anyways, came out to buy a computer, and turns out that he knew some people that like needed computers and stuff that couldn't really afford a computer. So, or it would just be a really crappy machine for like the price points that they wanted to spend. So after talking with him, he said that I mean he's computer literate enough to be able to build stuff and do some repairs and everything. And we have a cracked foundation in our house, so we had to rip up the floor. And because of that, I had to move my home office out to the garage, which I ran 10 gig to because I could, and I would actually use it over RJ45. Actually using switch here. I'll be doing some videos on it future here as well. It's a QNAP QSW TAC M2108 TAC 2C. That's from Charlie. And anyways, I ended up giving him over 20 machines, and also had like a new unopened. I think it's a smaller SSD, and he wanted to build like a Plex server, and I'm like, well, here, you know. So, anyways, check out that video on the channel. Hopefully, it's entertaining. I just released it yesterday. I don't remember how many views it has, but I'm just a small channel, so if you like, you can help out by slapping that like button and also subscribing, turning on some notifications. Anyways, I have so much computer stuff I'm giving away. A lot of it's old, but not always. Just depends. I'm going to try to start cataloging everything and put together something so that everybody can like publicly look at it and then determine what kind of like requirements that I should have. for people entering. I did ship out a motherboard with 2 Xeon processors. I think they were in the Halem Procs. I got it from a friend, and it just had issues where it would like intermittently freeze or reboot or whatever. And he did some troubleshooting on it, but again, because of its age, he's just like, well, I'll just replace it. So I got it and didn't really have a use for it. So then I gave that away on the channel, and I don't remember if it was only one person that entered or if there was a couple, and then the one person won. And then I shipped that. It was actually overseas. He paid the difference in the shipping between me shipping to Florida to overseas, and he actually has it running now. So it's been stable for him. So I guess it was just like bad RAM or something. This is a industrial PoE access point. Not sure if it works, but got it from a friend of mine who owns a computer shop that was, he took it as like e-waste, didn't have a use for it. And he's like, hey, you want it? Give it away or play with it? I'm like, yeah, sure. So I got that. This has been in many of my home offices for a long time, brand new, unopened. I did check on eBay. It's not really worth anything more than maybe like $5 or something, but it's a dual speed 10100 Ethernet D-Link DFE TAC 530TX LAN adapter. Hey, it has a lifetime warranty, free support. Let's see if it has a date in the box. There we go. Let's see if you guys can see this. Copyright of 1996. This card's from 96, never opened. Yeah, the WD Black NVMe, I think I paid $200 for that, and that's going into my new build. Also got a Adobe Acrobat 7 Professional and a Sempron processor. Yeah, I'm going to be building this out here as soon as I receive the motherboard that I ordered off of eBay. I was hoping it would be here now and I'd actually start building out the system, but it's somewhere in like Georgia or something like that last I checked here. Let's see. The floor was already fixed, so now we have new flooring. You can kind of see, there we go. You can see down there, it's just like vinyl planks. It's like a floating floor, so they clip together, and they just have to have like a certain amount of space underneath like the baseboards because the floor actually like floats around. What's interesting though is that I want to say there is I get more static buildup. I haven't Googled it yet and looked into it, but compared to the tile that we had there before, I wouldn't get static just walking around. So I don't know if it's just because it's new or what. I don't know. Does anybody know anything about static on vinyl planks? I see the comment about, oh no, not QNAP. QNAP, I like in my opinion see them more as like a hardware company versus say like Synology being more like software based. I know that there's a lot of concern about like QLocker and stuff, but it really just depends on when something happens because any system is vulnerable, right? I mean, Windows, Linux, whatever, when there's 0 day, there's 0 day. There's nothing you can do to protect it other than not allowing access in through whatever points on the network. So say that, if you have to like open up a port, then there's that. Now, also, if something is to be phoning home and there was some kind of exploit, uh, or man in the middle attack, I mean, it is, nothing is okay. So I mean, I don't know what year this started in, but 20 something, year 2000 something. There's no such thing as privacy, and there's no such thing as security or completely secure. I mean, there is security, but nothing is ever completely secure. If it's completely secure, it is buried in the middle of nowhere. Nobody knows where it's at. That person passed away or whatever, so nobody can ever get to it, and the system is off. There's no physical or remote access. That's secure until later on it's found. I mean, it's like buried treasure. I mean, it's secured. Nobody knows where it's at, right? Until somebody finds it and then starts looking into what's available. So there's that. But yeah, with the Q locker, I've seen some videos out there where actually you sent me one of the videos where the guy was upset, like he's working and you could hear just the hard drives thrashing away. When you look at, let's say, consumer routers, let's go back, I don't remember how many years, probably 3 or 5 years. And most consumer routers would not force you into changing a password, right? But then now fast forward, and most stuff that you buy off the shelf today that is aimed at consumers now guides you through a process, but sometimes still let you cancel, you know? So you could get a brand new router and you're like, oh, I don't want to change admin and password for the credentials because I'm just lazy or whatever. Some of the manufacturers will have it like printed out on the bottom by like the serial number saying like this is your admin password or whatever. But there was a open source. I don't remember what it was. It was something to do with like you could type in the SSID and the manufacturer, and like somebody reverse engineered like how the password, the default secure passwords for the SSIDs were generated. And you could just download it off of GitHub and run it and be like, here's the SSID name that pops up, Netgear 12345 or whatever, you type it in, and then it would generate like, here's, X amount of potential passkeys to be able to get into the network, and most likely one of them would work because they figured out how they generated it. It was interesting. It was several years ago, but anyways, the point being with consumer stuff, it's always going to be a learning process for security, not just for the end user, but for the manufacturers that support it. When you look at, a big box store just getting a random router off the shelf, the companies don't continue to make money unless if they have planned obsolescence for that product. Now, Asus was, as far as I know, like the first that kind of said, you know what, we're going to like support our stuff for a lot longer. And also because of Merlin firmware, it was basically used the base firmware for the Asus routers and then built functionality on top of that. And I had was it an AC68U? It's actually in the trunk of my car as like a spare backup router. So if I'm anywhere that friends or whatever, relatives, oh, they got some problems or something, I just take that, pop it in, and I know it's gonna work. And the thing's like, gee, probably like 6 years old, and there's still firmware updates for the thing. It's just like really unheard of. Now other manufacturers are starting to move towards that direction. But if you remember, like the WRT, uh, not like the 54G and GL, but like the newer one, like the WRT, I don't remember what it is, but it's the blue and gray. And it's got the fans on it and the antennas on it from Linksys/Cisco, right? And they ended up stopping supporting the firmware updates for it. Yes, you can load up DD-WRT on it, but a regular consumer typically is not going to do that. And Linksys is, they're going to want you to just replace the product, right? So yeah, this has vulnerabilities, and this chipset has these bugs, and exploits and stuff on it, and it can get owned by scripts that are just scanning the web and trying to break into it, and there's nothing that you can do other than replace it. And Asus, just again, they seem like they support it for much longer, which is why I like their products. If you're going to get a plastic box, uh, otherwise I drink the Unify Kool-Aid from Ubiquiti, and I am hooked. So, anyways, I don't blame QNAP for the Q Locker, and they are doing their best to help people out. You can actually sign up. They have a mailing list, and I posted it on the guy's video. Like, here's a link that you can actually sign up for like the security vulnerabilities. So we would have actually been notified. So kind of like when Ubiquiti was compromised, I got an email, and then I'm like, calling and texting, everybody I know that has a Unify stack installed, and it's like, go change, rekey everything, like change all your passwords, and so on and so forth. So, had you would have had a system, or signed up into QNAP system to receive those security bulletins and follow them, the question then becomes, would it still have occurred? So, was there a patch for that vulnerability that could have been applied before he was attacked, right? And let's say that it was available, it would have prevented him, but from getting infected. But you're still going to have other people that, even if they were notified about it, they might have gotten hit before the patch was available. It's always cat and mouse game though with security. Windows Vista. Oh, maybe. I think I have some XPs out in the garage too, but I might have some Vista. So make sure you are subscribed with notifications turned on, and also check out like my posts on the community tab. I plan on I'll probably put like a link up there or something on when I get around to actually like creating a inventory list of all the stuff that I've got, and then want to get some feedback from you guys as far as like what kind of requirements I should have. Because I mean, for example, I've got an Xbox 360 that I upgraded. I think it has like a hybrid solid state drive or something in it. I'd have to crack it open and see what I did. I did it years ago, so something like that. I'd really lose my butt on like, giving that away on a live stream with 10 people watching, but I don't expect to have like 1,000 concurrent viewers or anything like that for it. But I don't know. I mean, just think about it. I mean, what do you guys want to see? And then also, what stuff besides Windows Vista are you looking for? And I can see what I've got, because it's computers breed in my house, man. You should check out the video that I made on this shelf here. I posted it, I don't remember how many months ago, probably like 3 or 4 months ago. You can actually see a laptop breathing. Let's see. So the PoE access point is looking chunky enough for Donkey Kong to throw at people from an elevated defensive position. Nice. There's the Ryzen 9. That is the 5950X. Took me forever to get my hands on it. I was holding off to see what was happening with Intel's GPUs. And then finally it's like, you know what? Screw it, I'll just get it. And yeah, with Intel's GPUs, because there's rumors that you'll be able to do kind of like a crossfire SLI configuration between it and I think it was like 10th generation and newer iSeries processor, maybe 11th gen. And when using something like QuickSync, especially for video editing, I mean, that could be a game changer for content creators. My M1 MacBook Pro is like stupid powerful in Final Cut compared to my i7 8700 with a Vega 56 flashed over to 64 firmware and overclocked. Um, it just has so much power. That M1 chip is unbelievable. Now, I am curious to see what comes out with the M1X and or M2s. The last leak I heard was like the 16-inch was going to cost like $4 grand. I'm not buying that, not for $4 grand. But the 1600-ish or so that I spent on the M1 was cheaper than upgrading to this. Now, I do have some use cases that I can actually utilize all these cores, so that's the only reason why I'm upgrading to it. Just had to be very patient. I probably should have just snagged it when I was running my other live streams, finding hardware, but that's a whole other story with scalpers attacking me and stuff, so whatever. Gonna move on. Let's see, Windows. Oh, hold on, I missed a couple here. Yeah, it's vinyl planks for the flooring, not like a regular laminate. But it just seems like I zap things more often with in comparison to just straight tile, which we had before. And that was from the previous homeowner who considered themselves to be self-proclaimed handy. It wasn't horrible, but there was a lot of things that just, you could tell it was not professionally done, but we lived with it for over 10 years, so it was that. And then just when everything started to crack all across the board, then it's like, all right, we need to make sure that the foundation isn't like super cracked. Hopefully it's just a poor install. There were some cracked, but nothing major. So that, thank God, it wasn't that bad. So it wasn't going to be thousands of dollars more for them to fix it. It was included in the price of the new floor, which is good. And I got it through Costco just in case if there is a problem, then I take it up with Costco and they force the installer and or manufacturer to fix it. And years ago, I had radiant barrier installed in the attic, and the company went out of business, and they didn't have enough material to actually do the full install. And it actually ended up causing our utility bills to increase because you had the superheating between the radiant barrier and the roof, and then it wasn't going back out the vents because it wasn't properly installed, and there wasn't enough to create that barrier all across the inside of the attic. But anyways, short version is the manufacturer, the installer went out of business, and then after bugging Costco, they went ahead and forced the manufacturer to come out. And it was like the VP of whatever company, and he flies out and climbs up, and he's like, "Yep, there's not enough in here. Let me run some numbers. Here we go." And then they got another installer, and then they paid for everything to get taken care of. And since then, any type of major install, I'm going to go through Costco because it might cost a little bit more, but when you get the cash back on their Visa card or whatever, plus the it's the black membership card, whatever it is, and between those two, it ends up being just maybe a few hundred more sometimes. But then you don't have to worry about any problems long term. I might have a Windows 8 license somewhere. Actually, I had a key. Hold on. Nope, I moved it. I will have to find it. I pulled it off of a Intel Nook that I bought, and I did try to use it, and it actually wouldn't let me activate it. But I might have some other Windows 8 keys laying around or whatever too. Yeah, the 5950X was not easy to get my hands on. It ended up being, pull it up here. It was like $911 with tax. Yeah, I was considering getting one of the 3rd gen Threadrippers as well. Those motherboards are just so stupid expensive, man. Yeah, so it was $829.99 before tax, and $867 for shipping. So it was $911.70. Yeah, it took some patience to get my hands on it. My new build, I'm gonna still be using the majority of the stuff out of my old system, so it'll have the Vega 56 flashed over to 64, and then I just got the new NVMe. Yeah, for the cooler. It is the Be Quiet Dark Rock Pro 4. You know it's good because it said high end. But yeah, no, this is like way overkill for the TDP of my chip. There you go. So 250 watts, and how much this was. Let's see. Yeah, it's only 105 watts for the 5950X. So I can literally push twice the amount of watts, heat from this through this here. I wonder if this might actually support was it like a PRX4 or whatever? Interesting. This is the AM2 N plus, AM3 N plus, AM4, FM1, FM2 plus. So not for TRX based systems. Let's see. Yeah, I don't do any liquid cooling because everything's in the server rack. If something went wrong, I'd be really broke faster. SPX is back. Welcome back. I don't think I have any spare R330 rails laying around. I'm pretty certain I don't. I do have some rails out in the garage. I don't know what they are, but I'll have to take a look and send them to you. I got some shelves for racks if anybody needs them. Anybody in the chat right now that has a server rack? Yeah, I will catch you later, and I don't know if there's a spreadsheet on the different motherboards. Maybe check Wikipedia. I mean, somebody's got to have something out there. The reason why I got my particular board is because some people have already Hackintoshed it, and I want to do a showdown between a 5950X and a M1. I'd love to be able to get a better GPU, but I just got to be patient. and just try to snipe it when I can. Let's see. Let me see if I can see where my board's at. So I bought it May 22nd. It is in Kentucky. And it's coming from Georgia. So it was picked up or in FedEx's possession on May 24th. And today it's still in transit. Well, that sucks. I still can't cover it. But I only paid $150 for the board, so there's that. Yeah, if I just had a tower PC, then I'd be open to the liquid cooling. But because I have a 4U Rosewell server case with hot swap 3.5-inch bays on it, the issue is that if I had liquid cooling, well, not only is it not upright, it's horizontal instead of vertical, but I had way too much stuff in my rack. If something went wrong, it would go horribly wrong. So, Secret, do you need any shelves for your rack? I also do plan on probably giving away, this is a Synology DS212J. Again, I got computer stuff coming out in the ear, so when I put together the spreadsheet with lists of everything, then I want to get everybody's kind of like feedback as far as what the requirements should be. To give away something like this, I just don't think that it would be maybe it'd be great odds wise if I would do it with even just a single person watching the stream, but there's got to be some kind of like effort into it. And I also have to pace myself because just the shipping alone on stuff, I'm going to go broke. So I got to figure that out. Kind of probably put like weights in or estimated weights and dimensions and stuff in the spreadsheet maybe, so I can figure out shipping costs. So, but as the channel grows, I mean, what I want to do is to take everything that the channel makes and put it back into the channel and continue to grow it. And then maybe, pay it forward or bless people or whatever with stuff like this that they can use, And I can't run everything all at the same time with all the stuff that I have. So some of these are, end up just happening because I upgrade, and then I have the old ones, and I'm just too lazy to eBay it. All right, well, it's been almost 2.5 hours, so I think I'm going to wrap this up in 8 minutes if you guys are cool with that. What do you guys want to see up and coming on my channel? Is there anything that what do you like most on my channel currently? Great question on the depth of the shelves. I will have to measure them and I can get back to you on that. Here. I'm getting a text message on how is it going on the live stream, so that means I should be wrapping up soon. Switch Windows to Red Hat. Are you talking about the Microsoft banner behind me, or just format a Windows computer and put Red Hat on it? And why not CentOS or CentOS, however you want to pronounce it? Oh, that's cool. Off Bite My Bits. So Jason's channel. Sweet. Yeah, I'm up to quite a few likes here, and I'm seeing the graph like all over the place on concurrent viewers. Replace all Microsoft with Red Hat. Okay. And yeah, thank you for the successful first live stream here. This is the first time I've been on camera in a live stream on my channel, anyways. So there's that. And I want to try to do like maybe one weekend a month, I'm thinking. Maybe even a week. I don't know. I mean, I do work a lot, and it does take a lot of effort to make my videos twice a week. So I've been pretty strong releasing a Tech Support Tuesday video on pretty much every Tuesday, and then my regular full-length videos on Fridays. And sometimes I'm up like midnight or something, or waking up at like 4 a.m. to try to hammer some stuff out, just deadline wise, and so it can be tough. But I don't know. I get to see how my wife reacts to this being actually quite a long live stream, and I would never quit work. I'm too much of a workaholic, so even if this takes off, I'm definitely still working. Plus, the $40 in AdSense doesn't really go far. But for the scalpers, it was like twice that. So I just got to rebuild back up the momentum. So anything you guys can help share this channel would be wonderful. I do plan on probably putting together some merchandise. I don't know if people would buy it or not. I don't know. I mean, I got some ideas on at least on a t-shirt design that's pretty funny that I think that people would just enjoy. So I might do that. I ordered one, and when it gets here, then you'll see it in one of my upcoming videos. And then I'll be looking at doing some merch probably in the next month or two. I just need to determine on whether or not if I want to use like Teespring or whatever, and they take a big cut, but then I don't have to have any inventory. So I don't know, or maybe do like a bulk order or something. Like have people pre-order and reserve, whatever size and stuff, and then just like order for that batch. Maybe I don't know. So, and then of course take all of any of the money that's made and then pump it right back into the channel, and try to make a better channel. So you got kids to feed. Don't they know how to use YouTube in a microwave? And my youngest one, I don't remember what it was. Like she tried cooking something in the bowl in the microwave for like 10 or 30 minutes or something like that, and the bowl exploded. It's like, oh, jeez. Well, she learned. So that's good. Dude, that's not funny, man. I don't ever threaten anybody. But yeah, in a nutshell, that's basically what happened. Is I was attacked by scalpers from having 24/7 live stream. It blew up on Reddit and then just boom, just down. It's like, really? Come on. Some people, I guess, are just like ruthless and greedy. I don't know. So I gotta wrap this up in 2 minutes here. Also, I'm not sure how much lag there is. There's about 14 seconds of lag from what I'm seeing here, and I am hardwired, going over 2.5 gig to a multi-gig switch, then to a gig switch, and then out 940 down, fake gigablast, 35 up through Cox. So I was considering doing a 24/7 live stream of a like the attack maps. So I don't know if you guys remember like the Norse attack map by Norse and like HP. Kaspersky has one, but because I block certain traffic through my Dream Machine, then I actually can't get to the Kaspersky one without building out a bunch of other firewall rules or whitelisting the country. But anyways, I was thinking about doing something like that as like a 24/7 live stream, just to like kind of introduce people into the channel, maybe have some other stuff like on a loop or whatever, like playing. What do you guys think? Yeah, there wasn't any talking on the 24/7 live stream. It was just a bot that would show you where hardware was at, whatever retailers, and then I could put a like a maximum price ceiling for hardware. So, like how I got this for 800 and change before taxes, right? I would put a $900 limit on it. So then, if somebody listed it for 1049 or whatever, then it would actually say like price exceeded threshold, and it would just keep going, scrolling up, and then it would just keep hammering, or using it was using Chromium instead of like a doing curl or whatever, because then you have like the fingerprint of the browser and so on and so forth. So anyways, like Chromium would go headless, in multiple headless instances of Chromium would run concurrently to go ahead and check like Newegg, B&H Photo, Adorama, just tons of different websites, and then it would go ahead and pop up in the stream, and then it would play a noise whenever it would find something, and then it would show you the URL, and then you could just go ahead and Google, Adorama, whatever part number, this, version of the 3080 or whatever, and then try to jump to it before the scalper bots were snagging it, and then try to go ahead and buy it yourself. So it was cool. But yeah, let's see here. Well, big thanks to Liquid Cipher. I'm not sure if I know them. And again, please spread the word, and also hit me up on Twitter and Instagram if you like as well. And let me know what kind of like free hardware that you guys can use. And Secret, I'll go ahead and go out to the garage here in just a sec and shoot you a email back here with the dimensions on it for the. Let's see. I didn't have that on the Discord channel because I've been trying to keep the Discord small, but we'll see. Peace, Big Spoon. But yeah, I was doing that as a service. I had a couple people do send me some super chats on it, which was pretty cool. That was awesome. And because I was running it both on the Inspiron, what is it here? I think it's a 3493. Yes, it's the Inspiron 3493. So it's a 10th gen i5, and this thing would be pegged out at like 100%. And then I also had another instance on my PowerEdge R330, and then I would remote desktop to it, and then I would just have that on like the right side of the screen, and that would be Europe and Canada, and then the left side of the screen was just the United States, and it was like PlayStations, Xboxes, video cards, CPUs, all sorts of stuff. And in the middle, I would have a explanation of what it all was in like Notepad, and I had to run a dedicated fan. I mean, it sounded like being in a data center inside here. I had like so much airflow going through because I was just maxing out all the cores and just like pumping heat here, and I have the AC going. And there was a time on one of the weekends the breaker tripped when we were out, and the live stream came down because the power went off in the office. So there's that. Still probably totally lost money doing that, but just trying to help people out. All right, so I do need to get going. It has been awesome to do this, and I really appreciate the wow, 9 of you actually in here currently. Looks like it spiked up to 11. But maybe on the next live stream, then we can try to like give some more stuff away. It seems like you guys don't really want Sempron or a Acrobat 7 Professional or a unopened 10100 NIC from 1996. I got some books here. Do me a favor though. Drop in the comment section of the video, not the chat, but just like the comments, or email me at brad@shinytechthings.com. Stuff that you guys can use, and I'll go through my garage and stuff and see what we can give away and have some contests. So, all right, I'm gonna go ahead and end the stream and go eat some leftover pizza. So again, thank you so much for tuning in, and catch you in the next one. Bye for now.